I will call the June 3rd meeting of the Irmo County Council to order, and I will recognize Councilman Walker to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Dear Lord, what a week we've had here at Irmo. We don't question your wisdom. We don't question why things happen the way they do. We trust in you that you will lead us and guide us so that we become a tight-knit community as always. In the name we pray. Amen. Amen.
Next item on the agenda is the reading of the minutes for May.
Excuse me, Marty, we had a public hearing.
Public hearing.
Mayor.
Go ahead. Sorry. My eyes are getting very bad. Oh, excuse me then. I should have just done that first. We will go right into the public hearing then, and anyone who would like to address the council on our proposed fiscal year 2014-2015 budget may do so at this time. Seeing none, we will close the public hearing then and go into our regular meeting. We've had the pledge of allegiance and the invocation. Then we'll do the reading of the minutes for May 20th. Is there a motion for approval as the minutes are written?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
And any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the minutes being approved as written, do so with show of hands. Next item is the administrative briefing. Mr. Brown, anything you'd like to add to the briefing?
Yes, sir. Only that I've handed out some handouts for council. The Lexington County is having a recycle day on June the 14th. Want to get rid of any of your electronic stuff. There's also a brochure in there about a circus that would like to come to the park and perform on July the 19th. So the council needs to think about that. We can put it on the agenda next month and discuss it. And that's all I have.
Any questions, Mr. Brown? One question I wanted to ask or make sure I'm understanding. The sidewalk grants that we had some a letter from DOT before about, from what I'm understanding here, that's all been worked out, and Central Midland COG has come up with the extra money, found the extra money.
That's correct. It won't cost us any more.
We don't pay anything, but they're going to move forward now.
They're putting it back on the schedule.
Okay. Do we know how much longer it will be? Do they just kind of start back over or start where they were?
Start back where they left off. A couple of them were in the design process, some of them were in the right-of-way process, and one of them was ready for bid. So,
Good deal. Thank you for that. That was good.
One question. There was a thing in the paper that the money from the state that they took away from us a few weeks ago.
the local government fund.
Yes, might trickle back down.
They've been talking about it for about the last 3 months now.
Okay. You haven't seen any trickle yet, huh?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they, any new revenue to come in, supposedly, they will use that to fund the local government fund.
There's bound to be some new.
Unless Nikki Haley's money's free money too, so
Well,
she might.
she's looking for a lieutenant governor, and we can all take turns.
Yeah.
And she could pay us, and we could give it to them. I think that's what we ought to do. Don't you want to be her lieutenant governor?
And one thing I wanted to ask, I hadn't heard anything else back, and I guess it's resolved as far as the Bobas, the pipe inquiry in place. Is that, I know we were going to suspend their license. Did they go ahead and just close on their own? Or are they?
They are closed right now.
Okay. And they're not intending on trying to open back up or whatever?
No, that we'll bring it back up, talk about if they decide they want to. Right now, they've got legal issues, and they haven't even been there.
Okay.
We pretty much cleaned it out.
Okay, now we actually had a hearing scheduled on the 17th.
Yes.
Is that still on?
there's no reason to take it off. I mean, we'll need
Okay.
council approval to revoke their business license.
Okay.
Any other questions of Mr. Bradley? Next item is receipt of communications, and we have on the agenda Irmo Farmers Market. So I'd like to come and address us and talk to us.
I'm really here just to kind of answer any questions you have about moving the market. We had received word
Let
that,
me start.
yes,
Okay. I talked to the ladies earlier this month, last week, whenever, and we discussed moving it and the best place to have it and that type of thing. And coming from a real estate background, the saying is, if you move, you lose. And I thought, well, let's not move it until we make a drastic move like next year, in a whole new environment or whatever. Because everybody goes there for the farmer's market, and I don't want people to get confused or not be able to find it. Plus, it's very convenient. And I think it works well. So that's why I put it on the agenda, because I like it
Thank
where
you.
it is. So now if something were to come up, some emergency or whatever, you've already handled that before anyway, and you did it beautifully, so I don't see anything wrong with it. Now you can go ahead.
okay. Well, I mean, when you're saying that, I mean, for us to move the market mid-season, I think it really hurts the health of the market. When I was here in February, we talked about, are we going to move the market? And one of the last words I asked, or one of the last things I said was, you know, so we're good to leave the market where we are from April to October, from 9 to 12, the first and third Saturday of every month, and it was stated yes. So we've done marketing, we've purchased signs, and our vendors know that we're here for the season, and the community knows that we're here from the season. And we've had an influx in community support, and I just don't want to see that go. I think moving the market would be a bad decision. Not only for the health of the market and the community not knowing where it is, but the parking issue still hasn't. Although I went to the market this past weekend, and I know that the parking area has been paved, and that's great, but we're utilizing, I believe, we have about 238 parking spaces here, and that doesn't include the side parking on the streets that people are utilizing. We have 67 vendors. Our last market, with the vendors, the organizers, and the nonprofit, we had 67 cars. So if we're having 60 to 70 cars at each market, and you only have 130 spaces at the new market, am I correct on that? Close to that. And the vendors are taking almost half the parking spaces. I went to the market, I went to the new park on Saturday at 9:25. People were already setting up for parties. There was already a lot of cars parked there. I don't think, we would love to move the market to the park. It's a beautiful park. But I don't think that the parking situation would encourage people to come, either to visit the market or the park.
And I think the way it was left last time, that y'all would stay here, stay there, I think so, until, is it October or whichever one, the last one? And
We're
then
here
we
until
have the-
September, and we had talked about the last meeting, maybe moving the Christmas market
Yeah.
over to the park. And I think, it's a great idea to move the Christmas market if the park can hold the cars.
I believe it should be totally up to you where you want to have farmers market.
Thank you.
We should get involved with that, so I hope
We-
it continues wherever you decide to have it.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, in fact, you have a quote business license, so in fact, that's your business. And we can tell you where to put your business or where to do it, so I agree. And the only thing I think at some point you might, because whatever is stuff you're talking about, probably gonna be there next year. You may need to tell us, you wanna keep it here, or you will move it, and you'll figure out whatever that other stuff is as far as parking.
And I think October would be a great time to revisit where we're going to be. Revisit if the Christmas market will be at the new park or if it will stay here. The Christmas market was such a big hit. I mean, the whole entire park was utilized with the Christmas market last year. Perfect place for Santa Claus, but if there is, more accommodations at the new park, we'll be glad to move it over there.
Does anyone have anything else they want to ask them or comment?
You're aware that the church, Young Chapel AME, has a rather older population of members, and we just had a funeral a month or two ago with one of the senior members of the congregation, and God forbid that the funeral was on a Saturday when the market is scheduled. You realize that if that should happen, that the market would have to be canceled that day.
I'm not sure if we would have to cancel the market, but we would definitely make concessions for the funeral.
Correct.
We've reached out to Young's Chapel twice this year with no response. We sent them a letter. I sent them an email, and also I called them. I said that we would do that at the last council meeting, extend a hand, let them know that we're coming back out, and we just have not had any response from them at all. I've met with the associate pastor last season. They've got signs out there. They've taken some measures to make sure that no one's parking on their property. We make sure that there are no vendors park in that open field, no vendors park in the church. And we also advise the community via email, newsletter, and Facebook. Please don't park in the church parking lot. We don't tell them why. We just say do not park in the church parking lot. But I think canceling the market, if we could work around not canceling the market, but hopefully that won't come up, especially when the market's only organized. Right.
He did have a senior member of the congregation pass away.
Sure. Thankfully the market's only organized twice a month, and surely if that comes up, we would more than happy to work with the church.
Yeah. The first one y'all had, you had it over in this parking lot.
We
I think
did.
Because of, I think it was
Okay.
something.
There was something that
Well,
already scheduled,
right,
yes.
something was over. So that would be an option there too. So everybody in agreement to let them kind of do what they're doing and let them.
There's one other matter, if I could bring up. We, and I appreciate you listening to us today. We've had some community discussion as well as vendor discussion. Most markets, the ones in Lexington and Columbia, run from 9 to 1. Our market runs from 9 to 12. And the vendors would like to, and the community would like for us to extend the market an hour. So to have the market run from 9 to 1. It kind of gives folks an opportunity to actually have lunch out there. When they come out at 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock, they can have lunch. We still have folks that are walking around or just showing up at 12 o'clock, and we have vendors that are packing up at 12 o'clock. So this might be an opportunity for us to allow an extra group to come out from 12 to 1, whether it's the school group, singing, orchestra, and allow people to come out and have lunch. And not just an early lunch, but a regular lunch around that time. So we'd ask you to consider letting us extend the market for an hour for the rest of the season.
As long as she wants it.
Spend it all night, don't you?
Okay. Okay, great.
Stay for dinner.
Stay for dinner.
Great.
All ribs.
Perfect. Okay.
Okay. Good.
If you have any more questions for me, I'll be happy to answer them for you. No. We thank you for your support. We really do. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other received communications? No.
Yeah, is the parking lot's done, right? The paving is-
So I think the stripes are done and
Okay.
the big things hammered into the ground.
It was $6,000 stops?
Did you go have one?
Yeah.
Did you go hammer?
Yeah. Put it up, put it back
Put
together.
them down?
Cool. Cool.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we take executive session out of order. There are some issues that we need from a safety standpoint that we need to discuss. that, would keep, it would let us have those discussions and come back and report to the public without it being so late in the evening. So I'd like to make a motion, if I can get a second, to take executive session out of order.
Second.
Okay.
Did I get a second?
Yeah, Kathy. Any questions, any comments? Everybody fine? All in favor? All right, we will go ahead and take executive session at this time. There will be no votes.
Can we do it before the presentation, I said?
Yeah, and that way if anybody has any questions or anything.
They can,
Um,
have 2 shots at us.
yeah. And then, there'll be no votes. We'll come back out and then,
Report. And we need our counselor. Okay.
Are we ready? Is it, okay. We're back out of executive session, and I'm going to read a brief statement. And then I want to take this moment and say, as representatives for the town of Irmo, on behalf of the people of the town, our staff and others, we are very saddened by the tragic accident that occurred Saturday afternoon at our community park. Our thoughts and our prayers are with the family of Jacoby Ladd. As everyone knows, we have just opened the Irmo Community Park. Safety was one of the utmost concern and considerations in the design, the layout, and construction of the park. The playground equipment, the foam padding, the lighting, the walking trails, all were done with safety as a main factor. The park has been closed and will be for a couple of days to assess the situation, allowing us as a council to discuss any further or future considerations. We will continue to work making improvements or changes to keep our parks a safe, enjoyable destination for the people of Irmo and our visitors. Most important at this time is to respect the family, friends, neighbors of Jacoby Ladd and to keep them in our prayers. My heart, like that of many others, is broken over this tragedy in our town. We grieve and tear over the loss of this young child. Words cannot express. We ask the news to be respectful during this time. Our sympathies are with the Ladd family. And as we discussed in the meeting, we have had Fox and Martin, a tree company out to climb some trees, to look at some other trees, and they'll be out there tomorrow cutting some additional trees. And once that is complete, and then Whit will let us know, let Bob know, then the park will be open either tomorrow afternoon or Thursday at the latest. And that's it. As I said, we do grieve. I'm very sad. It's a tragic situation. And during presentation of citizens, which is the next item on the agenda, and this would be for anything that's on the agenda tonight, remote farmers market, and all these other items. If anyone would like to address council on those issues, do so at this moment. Anyone who would like, and all we ask is you give us your name and address for the record. Anyone who would like to address council? And do, so, seeing none. Next item is second reading of ordinance 1407 to adopt the operating and capital budget for the fiscal year 2014-15. Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
And is there a second?
Second.
So, who made the motion?
I did.
Howard. All right. And All second?
All second.
All right. Any discussion?
So we did, there was a couple of, modifications to the budgets on the budget expenses for the council. Oh, yeah, there it is. Yeah. Tiffany's, Tiffany Chamber asked for that money for the concerts in the park.
We just got her thing today,
Right.
so it's not been placed in there. And the orchestra never increased their budget. They were satisfied with what they had.
Yeah, the budget's still the $5,284,812. Is that the one you got?
Right, but that didn't include this 12,000, the 13,000, right?
Does not.
And then,
We have to talk about that first, whether we're going to include it in the budget before the next meeting, because they were asking for money from us, and then they wanted to keep the proceeds of any money that they made.
oh, really?
Now, if somebody wants to make an amendment to add it in there or deduct something out or who knows what, you can do that.
I think we need to discuss that at length before we
Yeah.
add that into our budget.
And our third reading is next meeting.
The 17th, yes.
So how can we discuss it before the next reading?
Well, we have to discuss it at the meeting, make an amendment, change the budget at the
I
final
don't
reading with the
I don't
final.
like making amendments on the third reading though. I mean, normally the third reading is just, it's a done deal at that point, you know?
You can discuss it right now.
If you want to make an amendment and if it gets a second, we can discuss it and then vote on amending it and adding to it. Or if it doesn't, then, somebody wants it. Is this the same?
And I just got it this afternoon, so that we
Well,
can get it in there.
then we can go to take that into executive session. Because I'm not sure. I don't know about that other part.
Is it about this or?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, as far as the budgetary thing is that, we'd have to do it not in executive session, because it wouldn't be I guess it wouldn't be an executive session thing, it'd be.
I'm talking about the contractual end of that. That's the part I don't understand. The contractual end of that.
Okay.
I don't understand that part. I'm just hearing about this now.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last workshop, she said she would get us some information. But just what I glanced at, it looked like basically they're asking us to finance it and for them to reap the profits from it. And that's not the way we had done things in the past with concerts in the park.
Right.
And
Well, they're going to organize it, manage it, and run it, but they want to keep.
That's fine. I don't have a problem with that part, but I mean, I didn't know about this other part. I didn't know about them keeping the proceeds of them. I know there was a profit center. I thought it was just an event.
Yeah.
You know.
And I know we had some questions, or I did, during the budget workshop with some of the costs that she said they would incur when we have done things in the past and have not incurred those costs. So,
I mean, it's a significant enough amount that I think we need some discussion about it. It's also a large enough amount that I know we need to add this to the budget as a whole. So I'd like to make a motion that we, I don't know.
Well, you can do one or two things. You could make a motion to add the dollar amount, whatever, is that the 13.2? That's the total dollar.
That's her estimate.
We could include that or not include that, or whatever council wants to do. And then, between now and the next meeting, tell them we're going to include the dollar amount, but we're not going to let y'all keep the funds, so to speak. That'll come back to the town or whatever.
Oh, we wouldn't even have to spend the money.
We're not spending money, we're just.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then if not, not give it to me.
Right.
Um,
We could say that we wanted to increase the budget by X number of dollars.
Right,
For the possibility of having concerts in the park.
right.
And who we contract with to do that, or ourselves, is up to us at a later date.
Yeah.
It doesn't obligate us to do it through the chamber.
And then if we don't agree to the terms, then we just don't do it.
Oh, you don't do it.
That's, now, I like to make a motion that we increase the budget by $13,200, you know, for future concerts in the park, and, you know, subject to, further review.
I'll second that.
Been a motion, second, any discussion? Anything? All in favor then of increasing, and I'm gonna vote against it just in case, just because I'm voting against it all anyway, but, I mean, I think they're probably a good idea to have it in. Or actually, I might vote for this and not vote for this, but,
Go ahead, flip the coin.
but anyway, all in favor of increasing the budget $13,200 to be used for the concert and park series, do so by show of hands. And that was a full.
That protects the money. and
That's
now
an
we-
area where we get it, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're at.
Right.
Okay.
Any other discussion on the budget?
So we have to vote on the budget as
Yeah.
amended.
Yeah. And the only thing I'm gonna say is, as I did before, you know, there's some things in the budget that I don't agree with. I'm not gonna get into them all now, just because.
Hallelujah.
Hey, just because of, I don't know, don't feel like it right now, maybe next meeting. So we're now at a budget of $5,284,812 plus the 13,200. And my eyesight is not good and my math is probably worse, so I'm not sure what that is, but it's those two figures together.
Yes.
That's what we'll be voting on. So all in favor of the budget amount of those two items, the 5.2 plus the 13,200, do so with show of hands. And all opposed. And so the next item is first reading of ordinance 1408 to rezone Richmond County tax map 1999-01-010, which is the Sonorama location on St. Andrews Road, 7701 St. Andrews Road. Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
And is there a second?
Second?
Any discussion?
Yeah, okay. Mr. Bob, is this it? Or is this it? Which, this is
Now,
it?
that little one right there.
Little one.
Where it says 1999-01,
The team
Right
has
beside
some-
the big
That
red
one.
one, yeah.
That's it. And as I said earlier, the planning commission met last night and they recommended approval.
And the reason, people asking for the zoning change,
Is because of the size of their building that they have, and they're currently using about a third of it for retail space up front, and the back of it is warehousing, and they just want to increase their retail space.
well, how did that, and I'll just ask this just for, say if that was done neighborhood commercial, and somebody came into town and wanted to build a building on it, nothing was built on it, how would they get a building built that big if we don't allow them to, was it like a little shopping center at one time, or?
It was grandfathered in, it was a,
Oh, grandfathered.
there were two businesses in there originally.
Years ago, okay.
I think, I mean, I don't have a problem with them using the building. I mean, it's existing, it's there. But isn't it a safer way to do this, is just give them an easement or a variance on that particular portion of the building?
It's
As
not
opposed to
easier,
changing the entire zoning for the whole property?
It is a way to do it, yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, they can go to planning, come to us,
Right.
if we turn it down, and they can also apply to go to a ZBA and get a variance. I don't know if they can do that before they come to us, or can they do that either way?
If you just prove that they go, you know, the ZBA asking for a variance and possibly get it while they're in their current location for their current zoning. that would
Yeah, I mean, I think
change.
that's a lot safer than changing that from neighborhood commercial to general commercial. I mean, you got houses all around it. Grantham Road is right behind this guy's property.
Well, the planning commission recommended approval because it borders right next to general commercial property now, the Shoppers Walk.
Right, but neighborhood commercial is in place for a reason. And that reason was to protect the homeowners that are really contiguous to it. I can understand the guy has a building that's so big that he can't utilize it because of the restrictions of neighborhood commercial, and I'm thinking that our zoning and ZBA is congenial enough that when they say, hey, we understand and we can give you a variance so that you can utilize your entire zone in a conditional type of setting, but I don't want to leave the door wide open for, a gas station to be built.
Well, gas station can be built there now, because it's neighborhood commercial.
That's right. You can
They're
bear
allowed in
gas.
neighborhood commercial.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you can bear gas pumps. They,
Yeah, the two things,
Besides,
I agree
they want gas.
with Councilman Walker too is, whatever they're gonna do with the building is one thing, whatever somebody else is gonna do with the building down the road if it ever sells is
Yeah.
another. And then the other thing, but we can't guarantee they'll get a ZBA or get a variance. You might go to it, they might turn it down too. And the other thing is, I had another point, but I forgot what it was, but, that was, my main concern is he's selling the property. And then,
Right.
the other thing I was a little bit concerned about, and I can't remember, y'all may remember, but I was thinking a couple of years ago, there was somebody else in this area, it might have been Thames Valley, it might have been in there, that asked for us to change your zoning, and we did. And I also know Mr. Brandon years ago asked us to
Yeah,
change his zoning.
that's right.
And we didn't, because it backed up to a residential, and we were concerned about that. So I think the only, that's one of the issues too, is if we do it, we didn't do it before, say for Mr. Brandon, and we didn't do it, I think for somebody else, but I can't remember who it was. And it may have been, like I say, this building over here, which doesn't touch residential, but we just left it all of it. So, the only other thing too is he's there, he's operating, and no one's complained. And so he may not be, if we gave him the ZBA and it was only good for him, and it reverted back to CN if he ever sold the property, but I don't know, I think he said they couldn't do that. Once they give it to him, it's with the property or is it with issues?
it's within the property.
It's with the use.
With the
Property
use.
use.
The
Yeah.
zoning changes with the property. though.
Right.
Yeah.
But if he had a variance and then he sold his property, would his variance still be good or would it die at that moment?
I believe it'd stay with the property.
I think so.
It would, yes.
Yeah, so the variance would kind of allow the same thing.
If another sign building or another business of similar moved in, they'd have the variance. I mean, you still couldn't tear down.
Right,
the
it would
building
still be
or something.
neighborhood commercial.
Correct.
Okay.
Any more questions? Comments? And as far as if we turn it down and he has to go to ZBA, how long does that process take?
Anywhere from 30 to 60 days, because we got to schedule a CBA, and they normally, only meet when there's an issue. So we have to schedule, it probably wouldn't be until July if they met.
In order for them to apply for the variance, we have a very conservative ZBA.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I
And
don't.
they have to come up with, there's 5
Right, they got to meet the
reasons
criteria.
why they'd have to meet 5 criteria in order for them to allow for the variance. So I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, if you deny this, it's still just business as usual, as he is. So,
Is George Glassmeyer on the CDG?
Yes.
But we got 3 readings too, so, you know, we can change it later if we want to, or deny later if we want to, or whichever we want.
And a public hearing will be scheduled for the next meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
So, any more questions, comments? All in favor then of changing the zoning from neighborhood commercial to general commercial, do so with show of hands. All opposed? And I'll say this, and I don't want to speak on behalf of others, but if he does go to ZBA and it doesn't pass, he can always bring it back to us again, correct?
You don't have to wait 2
Yes,
years.
yes, wait.
No, I think-
12 months.
Yes.
Okay.
I'd be very surprised if it doesn't go fast, but if it does not, I'll be more than happy to help.
Again, to that effect.
I just,
Not bad, no.
I mean, I don't want to seem like I'm against them changing his business. I just don't want to hear that. Oh, zoning change, right, on that property. If there's another way to do it.
Yeah, someone who got, yeah.
I'd rather see him try to get a variance and get it done that way. If it doesn't work, he'll come back and I'll go along with it.
It does back up.
You lost it.
A lot of houses.
Absolutely.
No, he's,
Next item on the agenda is the approval of an intergovernmental agreement between the Town of Irmo and Lexington County for the implementation of the SMS4 Stormwater Management Program. Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
I think this is just purely record keeping. We have to do this, and it's anytime there's a change in management, I think everybody wants to see it re-signed. But we do have to manage our stormwater.
And this basically, I guess, says that whatever Lexington County does, we kind of mirror it, go along with it, and agree with it. Correct. And we'll do whatever they tell us we got to do type thing. Any discussion or questions? All in favor then of the approval of the intergovernmental agreement with Lexington County on the stormwater, do so with show of hands. Next item is the presentation by citizens. This is where anyone can come address us on any issue, whether it's on the agenda or not on the agenda. All we ask is you give us your name and address for the record. And anyone who would like to speak to Irmo Council on anything, just come up here to this and just give us your name and address for the record.
My name is Brenda McLean. You need my address?
yes.
I'm sorry. 137 Sonning, Sonning. Can I ask either of you, does anybody know the address of the Irmo Community Park?
It is something east.
It's Eastview
Eastview
Drive.
Drive.
New park is 7507.
When I was on the phone with 911 on Saturday, I had a really hard time getting EMS dispatched. Their big question was, what is the address? I said, I don't know what the address is. I gave them explicit directions on how to get to the park. I had to fight 911 to get someone to the park. So I thought, God, what can we do so that that never happens again? There may be another accident, I don't know, I hope not, but the potential is there. So I guess maybe, can we possibly maybe post a sign or have an address posted at the park? Whether it be a posted sign or maybe painted somewhere. That way when someone does have to call 911, when the address is requested, it can be given at that time. That was very frustrating for me. Very, very frustrating. And I asked some of the officers, and if they knew the address and they didn't know either. And I'm thinking, well, if 911 is asking me what the address is, and I can answer it, and then I'm asking someone who's, you know, a town representative, they don't know either. You know, so, anywho, the 911 operator had asked me, ma'am, you need to hang up and dial 911. And my response was, you are my 911. So, it was an issue. Anywho,
She told you to hang up?
yes, yep. That's another issue. I'm gonna go to probably the county commissioner and request a recording of my 911 tape. I used to be a 911 dispatcher. I'm not new to that game. I gave her the information that was needed from the get-go. So I just wanted to ask if maybe we can consider putting maybe a sign, or at least somebody know what the address is at a public place in case an emergency arises. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Do we notify
We
EMS?
couldn't even go to the park until an address was established with Richmond County. They've known this for over a year. And the 911 was the first one we notified. And
Is it Richmond County or Lexington County?
Well, that
We're
Mark
never
is
gonna do
in,
that.
part of Richmond County.
Yeah.
We've had
we've had
issues
that
with
problem in
them before.
Lexington too, but I didn't know we had to go.
Yeah, we've had it with both.
Yeah, I didn't know that
It's
either.
terrible.
But
And
I
actually, the
understand, yeah.
911 people are the ones that give us the address.
I know. So, I mean, I
And it's a
understand your
public
concern
park,
with the
they should
address out
know.
there in the kiosk.
Yeah.
But a big,
Well,
so
so-
people can look at the kiosk and look at the address.
But she raises a good point, though. If she's calling 911 and she's at the park and he's saying, well, when you hang up and dial 911, you know, there's a serious issue
That's a
there.
serious
We've
problem.
had a few of them with
Yeah.
911s.
I mean, I don't know if we need to put somebody on that to investigate, you know, dispatch or communication. I mean, if I call 911 to my cell phone and I'm in Irmo, you know, who do they call? Is it on a cell phone? You know, who do they send? You know, there's no way to, you know, I'm in Lexington County. They send Irmo police, they said, no, you gotta call Richard County.
And I think, and I'm not sure, and I know, I'm saying no, because I don't, but I believe out there at the thing on the dam, they have these call boxes or call things or something, like emergency call boxes that I guess they know when you pick up one of those where you're at. Maybe we need to look at doing one of those.
You were on a cell phone? I'm sorry.
That's
You
okay.
were on a cell phone?
Yes, ma'am. And actually, that question did come up, where, what county are you in? I said, you know what, I'm not sure, but I think I'm on the line. I think the park is on the line, so I'm not sure, you know, if I'm standing in Lexington, or if I'm standing in Richmond where I'm calling you, but that was a mute point to me at that point. I gave them explicit directions. I said, Irmo PD knows how to get here. They're very familiar with the park. I said, but EMS, if you're not sure who or who's gonna come, I gave them explicit directions. I said, go to Lake Mary Boulevard, to the Frank's Car Wash. The street is right in front of it. Come straight down that street and they're here. I think the big issue, in 911, of course, it's a bigger issue than the town of Irmo. It's, you know, something else that needs to be addressed as well. And so that the 911 is an effective tool, resource that we have. But for a caller to have to distinguish what county they're in, what road they're on, where they're standing, because cell phone, nobody has a landline anymore. Everybody's got a cell phone. People from out of town coming in, how would they know that? How would they know to answer those questions? They would not know that. There's no way, you know. So, but you know, Mr. Hardy, I do. That was one thing that I thought about too. Was maybe have a phone, a red phone or something out there that we would be familiar with to know. To go pick it up and they know it's Irmo Community Park. And you know, I went home last night, or that night I went home, I Googled it, and I wish I would have told the dispatcher, can you Google it please? Because the address is on Google. But she didn't do that, you know.
GPS to find?
She asked me, she says, ma'am, do you have a GPS on you?
I thought they could find a cell phone.
Yes, ma'am. I'm just saying, it was very frustrating for me.
She asked you if you
Yes,
had a- oh.
yes. She asked me if I had a GPS. I'm like, not at my disposal. But I can tell you right how to get to the park, no problem. But Irmo PD knows how to get here. Just tell them it's the Irmo Community Park. They will know right where it's at. But can you please get EMS here? The baby is struggling.
Thank you, ma'am. That's horrible.
Anyone else who would like to address council?
Hello, my name is David Charneski, 306 Shillingford Road in Irmo. And a little update on the drainage situation that we have. Met with DOT, Brian Jones, from DOT, and they said that they were going to help us, or help me, help people. They said that we met Friday, at Friday evening, and they said that give them about, let's say 3 to 4 weeks, 4 weeks being generous, that they're going to send cameras down through the pipes and see exactly where these pipes go. They're all in agreement that these pipes aren't what it's supposed to be. So they're going to evaluate the situation, and depending on how the pipes are laid, determines how much in depth it's going to take to fix the problem. They're in agreement that the road that's above me, that the box, the drainage box, is on the corner, and the water that comes down the hill bypasses those boxes. So one thing that they wanted to do was delete that also, because the big trucks, if big trucks actually come by, it could be a moving truck, it could be garbage trucks, it could be any kind of truck, and it's actually crushing. It crushed one of the entranceways that's in the box, which reduces the water flow. Speaking of water flow, if you guys remember, our family cleaned out the ditch in the back, and that's awesome. It's really working good. It's actually, when we dug out the soot and threw it up, it actually is now cleaning itself out and going to it's like a limestone type looking stuff, almost like if it was concreted. It's taking the little pebbles away, and through these pretty good rains that we've been having, it's been cleaning itself out. So one thing would be nice is if we can get back there, and I'll see how much it is at Lowe's, but if we can get some killer stuff to kill it, kill the greenery, so that the sunlight could come in, dry anything up. The mosquitoes have dissipated so much. It's unbelievable. We can go out at 5, 6 o'clock, and the mosquitoes, it just, because what it was doing was holding water back, and you had stagnant water underneath the pipes. Well, now that you've got continuous water flow, and I watch it on a daily basis, it's like my passion thing. And, I mean, it's tremendously much better. Haven't got any killer rainfalls, to test everything out, but it seems to be doing good. So back on DOT. DOT said they're going to run some cameras. I do have a huge sinkhole. They said that they were going to run the camera in the South Carolina, Richland County stormwater damage, stormwater drain. Run that through the camera, so we could see what actually is happening. They said that they would give us a tape of it, so I'll either copy it or forward it or whatever, to see what happened with that blowout right there. And then they said, depending on what the situation is, they said they should have everything done within 6 months. So I said, I put them on a timeline. I says, so how long is this going to take? I'm thinking 5 years, right? I was like, okay, how long is this going to take? And he goes, well, I go 6 months, a year. And they're like, oh, no. we're talking 6 months. We should have everything wrapped up in 6 months. So it could be, it determines on where this couple pipes up higher than me actually take the water to. They don't want to go under anybody's house. So imagine their plans are to reroute her, take the boxes, move them up further, so when the water's coming down the road, it takes it before it gets into the turn, which makes total sense. Then they said if we have to add boxes to the boxes that are down low, that they would do that as well. So, needless to say, with the help of Mr. Bob, Mr. Younger, this guy right here, I couldn't have done it without Mr. Moore. I mean, with all y'all, Hardy, thank you so much. But we're on an up and up, and I thank you so much.
So you've already get some major construction on your street.
Yeah.
That's what we're told.
Yes, I really do appreciate it. I mean, he gave me a couple ideas, but I really don't want to do that. One of the ideas was, they said no matter what happens, if we get a huge rain, I'm going to get washed out. I said, that's fine. Just reduce it. I mean, I've been washed out like about six times. I'm scared every time it rains. If you could reduce it just by me cleaning out the ditch, and if DOT adds some boxes and some drainage, I mean, I know, things happen. And we do have flood insurance. So, but all I can ask for is help in that, God forbid if I ever need or want to sell the house, I can actually sell a house with a clean, a clean bill of, nothing's wrong with this house. I think that and to feel as a proud owner of the house, because I'm still, you're teeter-tottering, I know I got to put a roof on the house, I got to put siding on the house, or paint the house. I'm working on the inside upstairs first because I don't want anything to happen below. So the upstairs is about done. All I got to do is the wood floors. So I'm like, okay, you don't know what to do. Are you actually taking your money and just chucking out the door because you don't know? But all these little steps that is happening with DOT and Mr. Moore and all you guys makes you feel good, saying, okay, I'm putting money into something. I got plans, man. This would be the rocking house in Irmo. I mean, I'll be honest, man. My wife and I, there's that new salon that actually we did the glass work on over there across the street from the public shopping center. And you guys see it. It's all new and hip type. It's got the stained siding on there, and you guys familiar with it at all? You guys didn't see it at all? Well,
Next to Longhorn?
it's where the food line is?
You've got a contractor and a salon going in there, one here, person there.
Correct.
Kinley.
Man, that building is awesome. We did the glass work in that, and I took pictures of that building. I was like, man, how can I? I'm thinking, galvanized roof, because my roof is like that. And then do the partition, all kinds of neat things. But, because I have the abilities to do all that. Excuse me?
I said they spent big bucks on the bamboo around here.
Oh, yeah. So, it's a cool feeling because I have the ability to do remodeling and stuff like that. And just to be able to do it on my own house, not worried about whether bad things can happen. But I really do appreciate all y'all's help and your support, and hopefully we wrap this thing up and it'll be over in 6 months. So. Okay.
Amen.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you. And I think, there's another gentleman.
Good evening. My name is John Corley. I reside at 6036 Bush River Road. I tell everyone I live right below the trash dump. The reason I'm here this evening is I expressed to Mayor King this morning we need a place to have a more or less town hall meeting due to a situation we have at our church located on Coldstream Drive. The church is Pleasant Spring AME Church. A majority of the members via proper process, parliamentary procedure, voted to disaffiliate with the AME. We carried that, presented it to the AME. They told us that we may leave. There's a but. You can't keep your property, which is deeded to the church, title free and clear. So we are now in litigation, summons, and the National Church in Pennsylvania is suing for ownership of the property. In the interim, we've been restrained from worshiping there as an independent church, which we voted to be. We have to attend and be AME. So in order not to abandon the church, some will sit. The Lutheran Seminary has extended all courtesies and kindness to us. Past Sunday, we worshiped there. And in the future, well, we're looking for a place to worship. But most of all, we want to bring community awareness to our situation. Miss Emily Schumann, who was head of the Coldstream Homeowners Association. She sent an email to some persons, and we've gotten some response off of our Nursery Road. I think she sent you one, Mr. Moore, did she not? And we're looking for all the support we can get. I think Mayor King, you indicated it might be possible that we can have the town hall meeting here.
Yeah, I think talked to Bob today and Vi, I left you a message back.
I got it. I didn't have time to call you back.
But you just call her. I know we got court tomorrow.
Right.
And then Thursday and Friday. You know, if it's open, then either one of those, if you want to do it this week, if you want to do it next, it might
Probably
be more days open.
next week.
Okay.
And
probably have more days open because I know Tuesday night we won't be doing anything. And Monday night, in court will still be.
Court's every Wednesday.
Yeah.
Court's every Wednesday.
You should have Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday maybe.
Thank you. Also, I mentioned to Mayor King the possibility of maybe having church service here, since we're a people without a church at present. But he said church, separation of church and state and municipal.
We're checking into that. I talked
Right.
to Bob.
You can rent it to them.
He
for $1.
He was going to talk to the municipal association and see. He's called him, but we ain't heard back. But I think, yeah, Jake, you're an attorney, you might be able to tell us.
There should be nothing wrong with actually renting it to them, as long as you're not actually sanctioning it yourself, as long as you rent it to them for $1, charge it. There's nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
We used to actually have our church service at a school before we built our church.
Yeah, I knew Irmo Elementary sometimes used to do that, and then they started charging for cleanup and other stuff, so I don't know.
Macedonia Baptist part will let you use their building too.
Right. I thought about calling the Amos Bowman, but I don't know what time their service is, and me, I like to be out about 12:30. I'm 64 years behind on my beauty rest, so I need to catch up. But we do thank you, and we'll be getting in touch. Once again, the community, please be aware of our situation. It'll be a dispensation of information at our town hall meeting so everyone will know what's going on, and back us if you would. If you don't, anyway. But thank you for your consideration.
And call by tomorrow and set it up for next week, whatever day. And
All
then
right.
we'll find out about the Sunday thing and let you know for sure one way or the other
All right.
about that.
Thank you. And if anyone would like to give me their email address, I can have someone that's computer literate send you an email and forward Miss Emily Schumann's email on to you.
I told you the courthouse, if I can help you, let me know.
She told me she'd cut you in, and I was trying to get with you.
I told her the same thing, if y'all do need help let me know.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
We need you.
I helped one other little church here not long ago.
Macedonia, I will see you.
I know.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else who would like to speak to council, address council? See none. We've already had the executive session. Next item on the agenda is adjournment. Is there a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
And is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? We're adjourned. Thank you.